All right, guys. New try. I hope everything works here well. So I didn't charge the battery for 3 days now. I took all my videos off. It's got nothing to do with the car itself, of course. But I'll tell you why I did do this. I'll tell you later. Anyway, so yeah, I didn't want to leave this mess what I created with my videos. I know a lot of people appreciated the way I did it, and so I'm trying to do this a little more structured, trying to explain you where I'm coming from real quick. So I was looking for a new car because I had a Kia Sorento, which I'm using privately and for business. And it had a lot of mileage on it. It's a private car. I get a car allowance and get reimbursed for the kilometers I'm doing, which is quite a bit, approximately 30,000 kilometers per year. So before the Kia, I had a Volvo XC90, which was a great car. So I drove the Kia for 4 years, Volvo XC90 for 3 years as a company car, and before that I had a VW Charan with the sliding doors, 9 years, almost 9 years, 3 company cars in a row. So every 3 years I got a new one. It was a great car when you have small kids, and I do have 3 kids, 3 boys, very active in sports and everything. So the Charan did well when I need 3 child seats, and it was a 7-seater as well, so for practice sessions and football and everything. I could take friends with us or grandparents, whatever. Then when they got a little bigger, I got the XC90. It was a great car, it was almost free entire seats, so real size seats. Also the one in the middle was pretty big. But then after 3 years I had to get a new company car, and the company changed the policy, and I couldn't get the Volvo XC90 anymore and any other comparable car of this size. So I decided to go for a private car, bought the Kia Sorento because it was very close to the Volvo XC90 when it comes to space. That was great. And now with 230,000 kilometers on the clock, I had to look for a new car. I was looking for a fully electric car, like a Xpeng G9, too expensive for me. BYD Tang, couldn't get hold of one to test drive it. A Hyundai Ioniq 9, beautiful car, great car, comfortable driving, everything is fine, but the top range is more than 90,000 euros, and that's not what I'm willing to invest into a car. So I test drove it, was great, but was out of range for me. The same with the Kia EV9. You could buy it used at a little more than 60 grand, but then, 60,000 euros for a used car. And yeah, I don't know, I wasn't convinced at all. I test drove the Leapmotor C10 as well. Good car, very cheap, and I'm a price buyer. Could have been something I would like to have, but yeah, at the end of the day, the trunk was too small. So my kids are playing football, I'm a soccer coach. I'm carrying camera equipment, including a camera holder, stative, all these things. One of my boys is a hockey goalie, is 17. The hockey goalie bag is really, really big. So you need a lot of space in the trunk. So Leapmotor C10 didn't work. Kia EV6 didn't work, too small. And then the seats were very uncomfortable. So I'm 190 meters tall, 90, say 5 kilograms in weight. I'm a fairly sporty person still. I'm in the mid of the 50s of age, but didn't sit comfortably, and then the trunk wasn't as big as the Sorento one, of course. So at that time I was only looking for the fully electric cars, and then I decided to go for the MG S6 as my next car, and I'd already ordered it. And then I showed my wife at the dealership, and she immediately said it's too small. And she was right, the trunk is too small. 3 people sitting in the back seat, too small. Everything just too small. And then the biggest issue was really the charging speed. So if I remember this correctly, it was like 38 minutes from 10 to 80, or from 20 to 80, I don't know. 400 volts, very slow charging speed. So I canceled that, and when we were checking out the S6 in the showroom, there was the S9. And my wife immediately, and I myself as well, we immediately jumped on it and said, this size is perfect, but that was the hybrid version. So I made a little bit of research in the web and saw that the electric range is 100 kilometers. Great. So I thought, this is perfect, because then you can, drive in the city fully electric like I'm doing right now. And this is now below 20 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers, which is awesome. And when you go on long business trips, which I do, we could, travel, if we want to, for 900 kilometers at least. I mean, MG says more than 1,000 kilometers as a whole, without making a stop. So now the next step was, so I canceled the S6 and tried to get an S9 for a test drive. That wasn't that easy, because here I'm living in the south of Germany, in Augsburg, close to Munich. And the next dealership is like, regardless in which direction you look, either to the north, west, east, south, everywhere it's more than 40 kilometers of driving, or 40 minutes of driving. So, but I got hold of one from a dealership in the west, in Günzburg. He organized a test drive. I drove it for 2 hours, tested it on the Autobahn, like I'm doing now. I'm going very slow now, of course, and I'm in EV only mode at the moment, and actually I'm going to change that, because I didn't charge my battery for 3 days. I only have 60 kilometers in range left. I don't want to have it drop too fast, so I'm going to do this. I don't know if that is if the camera can see that, but let's do this real quick. And now it's turned on immediately, because we are down to 62 kilometers. So this is the story. So I asked for an offer. The dealer offered me the S9. After the test drive, I was really happy with the car. So the dealer offered 46,000 euros. It was listed at 49. So the top version, the luxury version. Of course, I wanted the luxury version because I needed ventilated seats. I needed the side mirrors to be powered, and some other good stuff like the sound system from Bose, which is really good. Anyway, he offered 46, and I thought, well, no, it's a lot. So I'm looking for a show car, presentation car. So I went to mobile.de, which is a website, I think, all over Europe, and looking for a presentation car, for a test car. And I actually found a few, and they were all priced the same, and there was 37,500 euros. So I called these guys up and asked if I can buy the car. And one of these dealers, and that was in a neighborhood of Dortmund in Germany, he said, no, we can't sell it right now because we have to keep it for a minimum number of months and kilometers, because that's the deal with MG to get this presentation car. But I can tell you a brand new car for the same price. And I was thinking, wow, this is real? And he said, yeah, there are two things to consider. And one is a big bonus from MG directly, which you get, which you get from MG directly. At the moment, I don't think that it's going to be cancelled anytime soon. They say this offer is expiring in September, but I don't think so. Then, so this is 4,500, I believe it was. And then the other rebate is coming from the financing, from the bank. So regardless of how much you finance, you make a down payment and then you finance a little bit at the BNP Paribas Bank, I believe. And then you will be getting another rebate, bonus, whatever, which is then really significant and brings the price down to 37.5. But that it goes only for the white version and the dark interior. And if you want to have another color, then you have to add an extra 900, which we did. We took the Camden Grey. That was my wife dictating the color, and I don't give a shit about the color. So for me, that's fine. Anyway, so yeah. So now I bought the car. So I ordered the car on July 10th or 11th. I think it was. I think I placed the order on a Saturday and got the car on the 30th of July. Now, what you have to keep in mind is this is for continental Europe, a brand new car. So if you want to find an insurance company giving you a competitive pricing, that's got to be a tough task, because most of these insurance companies don't have it listed yet, and they just offering you really stupid pricing, which you can't really agree to. So I made a lot of inquiries. On the web you couldn't find anything. It was not even listed on check24.com. So it was really tough to get a somewhat useful offer. I ended up with an insurance company called LVM. It's a German company, and it's actually not an online insurer, because usually what I was using was HUK24. It's one of the cheapest insurance companies for car insurance, but they don't have it listed. They have it listed now, and I tried with all my data, which they are very familiar with, because I have insured quite a number of cars on my name there. But still got an offer for like 2,800 euros per year, all insured, with everything included. So that's pretty insane. So what I did is I went with LVM, which is 2,000 euros per year. It's not very great, but that was the best offer. But I think we have to tweak a little bit the kilometers yet, because I don't think that it is properly insured. But the good thing is the insurance starts now in July, and the end of the first insurance period is not 12 months, but the end of the year. So I could, if I want to, and if I find another insurance company which gives me a better pricing, I could just switch to another insurance. So, all right, that's the background. Now, what was my biggest question in the very beginning? I can tell you that. My biggest question was, after discussions with UK guys underneath some MGS9 review videos, the biggest question was, will the battery deplete when you're driving on long business trips? Now, the UK guys said yes, and that they are constantly driving with a depleted battery. But I couldn't believe that, because in my test drive, I went to the Autobahn, had like 60 kilometers in range when I entered the Autobahn, and when I arrived at the dealer back, I had more than 70. So it recharged as it's doing right now. Maybe you could hear the sound. So the engine turned on, and not just turned on. It has now 1700 rounds per hour, RPM, rounds per minute, sorry. But it was higher just now because you could hear it more distinct. So when I took the car, I actually was in the middle of a business trip, and I was like, at the end, at the farthest point, when I took over the car, I was like 600 kilometers away from my home, but I had to go another leg of like 160 kilometers to meet a customer on a Friday morning. So I took over the car on Thursday afternoon. I think it was Thursday, the 30th, July 30th or 31st. I don't know. But and by the way, a big thanks to the dealer there in Hamm, Hamm. It is Weller, Weller, and the guy is Dorian. He was a very young sales guy, but he was really sharp. So everything we did, I sold him my car by email, sending a couple of pictures and a description and the kilometers and all this shit, and doing this financing, doing the offer, negotiating everything online or on the phone. And he was kind of extremely good available for a car sales guy. So really, really good. Until the end, he was really reliable and kept his promises as far as he could. Of course, you can't keep every promise, of course, because you are depending on MG and on the lead time and everything. But he did a great job. It was awesome. Anyway, so I took the car over on a Thursday afternoon, left my Kia there, just put all my clothes and stuff into the new MG S9. Went on the 160-70 kilometers, and that was about my first video, I believe, which I issued. Went into a hotel, went to see the customer, drove 750 kilometers back. When I arrived back home, I was at 1,000 kilometers or so, and I didn't have the chance to charge anywhere, but I didn't arrive with a depleted battery. I arrived with a 60-70% charged battery, because this hybrid management is really, really good, really, really smart. So when you drive an HEV, which you should from the very beginning on a long trip, and that is really important. If you start with EV first, and then try and, when you are down to 10% or so, and try and recharge the battery with the combustion engine, it's first of all very expensive and stupid to do so, but also it will not be able to, because it constantly supports the combustion engine, the power of the powertrain when you go back up the hill, when you at a traffic light, everywhere when an acceleration is asked for, this electric motor kicks in and uses the battery, so it will be having a hard time to charge the battery all the way up. It could do that if you would be driving on the Autobahn for a long time, then it would do that. But if you're driving like I'm doing right now here on just normal roads with 60-50 kilometers per hour, then it will be pretty tough to recharge the battery. It does that. While I was talking, it did recharge already a bit. But when you have a lot of stop and go traffic and a lot of, hill climbing and stuff, then I totally get that the battery depletes at one point, and then you are driving without any charge, or the minimum charge, because it keeps it on a minimum level, 3 to 4%, or 3 to 4 kilometers it says, of remaining range, which is wrong actually. I proved in the previous videos, which I took offline, that this that this engine or this car is really not consuming a whole lot. It's really awesome. It's really awesome to see how efficient this car works. So when you drive in cities, you get down to 16 kilowatts hour per 100 kilometers, which is just freaking awesome. It's insanely efficient. And if you then do the math, this car has a 24 kilowatt hour battery. And if you then, divide it by like 16 or 17 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers, then you will easily end up with 120, 130, maybe 150 kilometers. And that's true. This car is that efficient. It is just fucking true. So I'm driving all day long electric, getting my kids to school, getting to practice sessions, whatever. It's just extremely efficient. When you take it out of the garage, the first kilometers or two, it will be very inefficient. Well, not inefficient, but it will consume more, just like a combustion engine. So it will start at 25 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers, but then once it gets into rhythm, then you are down below 20, well below 20. So now I'm driving HEV, as I said, and maybe you can hear the noise now, because I think the engine is now at 2,700 RPMs, because we are still at 64 kilometers left in electric range, and I'm having a hard time saying 64% because I think it's just not true. This is by no means percent. This is kilometers, calculated kilometers. But this car does much more than that, except, whoa, this guy almost lost control over his car, fucking hell. I think that was the lane assist. And the Polestar 4, fucking them up. That was really dangerous. Anyway, so it's not percentage, it's kilometers calculated. And as I just said, this is capable of much more. Unless you go to the Autobahn and drive purely electric, then it will consume more than that. And I think I made a test and multiple tests and ended up with like 23 to 25 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers on the Autobahn when you drive 140 kilometers per hour, which is still great. I can't complain about that. I think that's awesome. So the plain answer is no, it doesn't deplete the battery if you're driving an HEV. If you are driving an EV first and drain the battery down to like 5% or lower, then you will be having a hard time to recharge with the combustion engine only. But if you are careful on driving an EV all the time, an HEV, then this battery will not let you die unless you are having a very, very difficult environment to drive in. As I said, mountainy areas, a lot of stop and go and stuff, a lot of battery usage, then it will also not be charging. But then this battery charges with 11 kilowatt per hour. So at least in Germany, every Aldi and Lidl has a charging station, and you can charge with 11 kilowatt hours. So this will be great. I'm just gotta be careful. I'm at the stadium of the FC Augsburg right now, and I don't know if I could have taken this road. Anyway, yeah, you can charge it at 11 kilowatt hours. I'm not charging it with 11 kilowatt hours at home. I'm charging it almost every day. But as I said, not with a standard wall box, because my guy didn't come yet and didn't help me make the electric installation yet, but he will. So what I did is I bought a mobile wall box, and there are many offers on the market. I didn't take the first one I could find, but I researched a little bit, and of course I'm cheap. I'm a price buyer, so I bought one for 130 bucks, an unknown Chinese brand on Amazon, and it does the job. I'm using an adapter for the standard socket, Shuko socket at the moment, so it charges only with 1.8 kilowatt hours max, maybe max 2, because I'm limiting via the mobile wall box. I'm limiting the power supply to 10 amps because my house is not a brand new electric installation, so I don't want to mess it up and risk a fire. So that's what I did. So so that's the part of charging. So it's really convenient when I drain the battery all day long and come back with like maybe 10 kilometers left or even less. Then I plug it in with my intermediate charging system, and I'm ending up with like 10 hours in charging time, but that doesn't matter because it's in the evening anyways, and I'm going to bed, and next morning the car is fully charged, which is great. And fully charged is the next topic, so Quirks. So when I wasn't used to drive electric cars and not experienced at all, so what I did is I charged it full every day and started my trip, whatever I had to do. And I was wondering, when I'm using always the regenerative braking level 3, that's the strongest one, but I like how the car behaves, and you save a little bit of brake wear and that stuff. So when it's fully charged, in the beginning I was thinking my car had an issue, because when I let the pedal go, or the pedal go, then it didn't decelerate, it didn't brake at all. And that was scary because it was just holding the pace. And I was thinking, no, it has to brake, for fuck's sake. But it didn't. And I was freaking out also in my videos and thinking there's something wrong with my car and it's extremely dangerous and blah, blah, blah. But then at the end, some guy commented under my videos and said, no, that's typically normal for electric cars. Every electric car has that. And that's kind of logic. I'm just stupid. I'm a stupid idiot in this regard, because when the battery is fully charged, it has nowhere to put the regenerated energy, which is why then it just doesn't use it, and just keeps on driving the car. It's a little bit concerning because it doesn't reduce pace, which every combustion engine would do. But on the other hand, whatever is going on there, I don't care too much about it. So by the way, we are driving fully electric now, even though being in HEV mode, because at this slow pace, in most cases it uses electric power only. So yeah, so there was a little quirk where I thought my car is broke or has an issue. The other thing was, in the beginning, the Bose sound system wasn't really great. It sounded ass because I didn't connect to Apple CarPlay in the beginning, and then I just used the DAB radio function, and that source was really weak in tone, so it sounded really like ass, and I was a little disappointed. But once I connected to my iPhone 17 Pro Max Apple CarPlay, which was a story for itself because it took a long time, and there again a user underneath my YouTube videos, which I took offline now, helped me with a comment and said, no, you have to connect to the Wi-Fi hotspot of the MG, and then CarPlay works. And indeed that solved the problem. In the beginning I wasn't pretty much I wasn't able at all to connect to CarPlay. It was just a pain in the ass. Now it works like flawless, but with one restriction: sometimes it is disconnecting on me with no warning. It just disconnects and is not connected any longer. So I can live with that. That's a quirk, but that's all right. So since this one user gave me the tip to connect with the Wi-Fi hotspot first, the CarPlay issue is gone, and with the CarPlay, the sound system of the Bose is really awesome. It sounds just great, just like I want to. It has a limited options of settings. It seems extremely limited, but it works just like a charm. So I'm extremely happy with that. Okay, the other quirk is this one here. I don't know if you can see that with the camera, otherwise I will show you later. The armrest in the middle, it moves a little bit, it gives a little bit. That's not nice to have, to be honest. But I got used to it. I barely recognize it in the meantime. So yeah, what else? What else can I share with you? The other day I was going through the car wash, and that was no problem at all, except the fact that the wheels are quite a little bigger than all wheels I had before, and that is a little trickier to hit the track, because the car is being pulled by the front wheels, and until the car gets aligned, it makes a lot of noise, and this car is very heavy, as you may know. Yeah, then for the driving itself, long trips is extremely comfortable. The heat venting is cool. I am complaining a little bit about the air conditioning on this side. So on long trips, and when it's really hot outside, I tend to turn this off, the left-hand side, because it oscillates and moves by itself. There's no way that you can adjust it. Well, there is a way to give it a little bit of a direction, but you have to mess around a little bit with the menu here and the infotainment, which is very laggy at times. So I tend to turn it off because it's making me sick. It's blowing into my face, not all the time, because it's moving back and forth, right and left and right, whatever. But each time when it hits your face, it's extremely cold, and I have set it to, let's see, I've set it to, and you can see how long it takes to switch to the other menu, to 23 degrees on my side, which should be fairly decent, but it's freezing cold. So yeah, also there came a hint or a tip from a user that I should just use the internal air, which I did just now, and now I switched to taking new fresh air in. But to me it doesn't make a big difference. It's just too cold, and I'm wondering how the car behaves in winter, because one day I was driving with a friend and we were just test driving, and it was cold. It was like 20 degrees, and I turned on the heating and put it to 30%, and we were driving electric, and it turned on the combustion engine to produce some heat to use for the inside. So this will be interesting to see how this car behaves in winter. There are some things which I miss, and that is most of all the all-wheel drive. This car doesn't offer any option, or this brand, for the MGS9 yet. There is an RX9 in Asia released, which is an all-wheel drive. So as soon as this is coming to Europe, I will definitely consider trading my car in and getting the all-wheel drive, because other than that, I'm really excited about this car. What I'm also missing is a steering wheel heating. No option for that. So I have the top range version. There's not much more what you can put in. So nothing. I have, we don't have seat heating in the back, the outer seats. So I will have to buy something extra for my kids. Yeah, but other than that, I'm pretty pleased with this car. I think this car is just awesome value for money. It's extremely comfortable and silent to drive. It's extremely practical. It has a lot of space in the back. We actually made a family road trip last weekend where my oldest son, which is 17 years old and almost 1.80 meters tall, was sitting in the last row using only one seat. So we had the middle row pushed a little forward because the other kids are 14. So there's plenty of leg space left so that you can move the middle row, the second row, a little forward so that the one in the last row has enough leg space, and that's what we did, and my oldest son liked it a lot. He found it very comfortable even though the position for the legs is not optimal. So it's not perfect, and for real long trips I wouldn't recommend somebody to sit on the third row, in the third row. But then still we had plenty of space left for luggage with 5 people. That was really great. So while I'm talking, we were driving now 35 kilometers in total. It's not a whole lot. 43 minutes in total, and consumed 4.8 liters in fuel and 2.1 kilowatt hours. I have 66 kilometers left in electric range. So we were down to 60 when I turned it on, the PHEV mode, or 62, I don't remember. So that's a pretty good result, I guess, I think. Yeah, and then there was this other quirk, and there still is an issue with this car, I gotta say. And that is and I showed in one of my videos, and I will just show you the video right now. It makes a weird noise. You hear that? I don't know what the hell that is. Might be cooling. Yeah. Wonder if that is normal. Yeah, while I'm talking, there was this extreme loud noise when I was driving electric, fully electric. That was just awful. And that was when I was driving really fast, so I brought my kids to a place 20 kilometers away. So I drove purely electric with 140 to 150 kilometers per hour, and it was like 38 degrees outside, so very hot. So I brought them there and went straight back home. And when I arrived at home, I noticed this very distinct loud noise. So as you could hear in the video, so I was very concerned, and also there people commented under the video then, and it was very helpful. And I must say the whole community is just awesome, because the people who are interested in this car are in my eyes great people, because they are looking for value for money, and they gave a lot of tips. One guy was pretty precise. He said it's either the compressor of the air conditioning or some other compressor stuff, and that's exactly what it was. So I went to the dealer, had it checked. Very nice dealership, by the way. It was a Mercedes dealer in Kaufbeuren. They made a comparison. They did a test drive, and then they said, yeah, your car is not broken, so you can use it, but we will repair it on warranty, on full warranty, but we have to order the spare parts, and there's currently apparently an issue with ordering spare parts from MG. So, well, he said, but I shouldn't be worried. There's nothing broken. There's nothing wrong. It's just louder than normal. If that's the case, so be it. I'm fine with that. I don't care. But it was a very nice visit at this dealership. I was very happy with that. So, yeah, what else? So I have now 3,163 kilometers driven with this car in total, and it consumed on average 5.5 liters in fuel and 4.8 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers. I think this is pretty awesome, because a kilowatt hour at home costs charging like 29, say 30 cents, euro cents. So that is €1, what? €1.20, €1.50, not even a liter. So that brings me up to 6.5, maximum 6.5 liters on the total range. I'm not talking about business trips as such. When it's charging the battery, it's consuming quite a bit more. So when I was doing, now I have to really turn off my air conditioning on my side. I can feel it, that it's making me sick. So when I was doing these long business trips, I did 2, 3 of that kind. The longest was the first one when I took over the car. Couldn't go really fast, so I consumed only 7.5, 6 to 7.5 liters, something like that. I don't remember that anymore. But when you do like what I did just lately, a 400, 500 kilometer trip, and you can't charge the battery, so it has to charge, as it's doing right now. I'm back up to 68 kilometers in range. Then it's using sometimes 8 liters, 9 liters when you go fast, because it has to deliver the power, to get the power to the wheels, and then also to charge the battery. So it's doing a lot, and as it does right now, 2,700 rounds per minute. And if I would go faster now, which I'm not allowed to yet, then this RPM would increase. But then this is only a snapshot. What is really important to me is the overall consumption. This is 5.5 liters and 4.8 kilowatt hours on 3,166 kilometers total range, on an average pace of 55 kilometers per hour, 51 hours in the car, I think it says, yeah. So not bad. This is extremely efficient, right? And as I said, the driving is so smooth. I just accelerated in the PHEV mode, and it just moves like an electric car almost. It has really good power. And you know, don't get me wrong, but you don't buy this car to race. You buy this car to have a pleasant drive, comfortable ride, you know, being able to talk to people in a car, being able to sit for a couple of hours, because you have the range for more than a couple of hours, without, you know, getting a pain in the back or somewhere. It actually has massage seats, of course. So it does all that, all pleasant. What it doesn't do is being a good racing car. It's not. It's not a racing car by any means, right? I really don't know what else I can tell you. And I hope actually the camera recorded everything. I'm filming now with an old iPhone 11 clamped to my seat here, passenger seat, and I will show you a picture of this. I'm recording my voice with a little microphone which I have attached to my shirt. I hope it's still working. I don't know. Can't see the light, but it's turned to the other side. So all very unprofessional, but you know, I'm not aspiring to be a professional YouTuber. I'm just trying to give you my feedback on that car. This car is awesome. For the money you pay, for the price you pay, this is just awesome. It doesn't tick all boxes, of course, but which car does that really? And as I said, I was willing to go fully electric, but then I was a little bit concerned about doing all these charging breaks on the Autobahn, because I'm doing a lot of long distance driving for the business, but also private. So next week we will be on a long holiday trip, which is at least 850 kilometers one way. So yeah, you know, this is the perfect mix here, the perfect synthesis, I guess you say, because when I'm at home on my everyday usage, and that is half of my time, not kilometers, but half of my time at least, if not more, much more than that, I'm driving in a city and in a neighborhood, getting my kids to football practice or ice hockey or hockey, and driving and running errands and stuff, you know. And for this, I have a fully electric car, which is always charged every morning, and very efficient for the size. And the size matters in this case, for me at least, in my stage of my life. So, and then when I go on long distance trips, I don't have to worry about charging. Because, you know, yes, with the Xpeng G9, which is smaller and not sufficient for my needs, you could charge in like 15 minutes, right? But you still have to. You still have to think about it. And then if you go really fast, then you have to do like after 250, 300 kilometers, the charging. It's just bullshit. I want to be able to drive 400, 500, 600 kilometers, regardless of how fast I go, right? I don't want to sit for so long in the car, but I want to be able to. That's my concern, right? So, and now I have the perfect blend. When I go long distance, I can do whatever I like. And when I go do my daily stuff, I have a fully electric car. This is just great. Oh, and one thing is missing, and that is the self-parking assistance. So it doesn't park. So we are, by the way, up to 72 kilometers again. So I will be switching to electric mode again, because I don't need this. I'm not going to drive another 100 kilometers today. So let's see what the engine does. Yeah, it's turned off right away. So now we are driving fully electric again, because we have 72 kilometers left in range, and I'm gonna charge the car tonight. So yeah, again, so I'm very happy with this, you know, compromise. Very happy, but only because it still offers the big practicality and size-wise and all, and the comfort and the really calm and silent driving behavior. Because I was driving hybrid cars in the past, but they didn't really work for me. They either had a ridiculous range of 20 to 30 kilometers, or they were loud as fuck and when charging the battery, or they were mild hybrids, which I'm not looking forward to at all, because then you're constantly running a combustion engine. I just don't want it. Just like now, I'm just driving with 110 kilometers per hour, and I don't care about combustion and engine and fuel consumption, right? Especially these days. I mean, fuel is insanely expensive, and I just don't care. And if my kids want to drive and go get an ice cream, no problem. Take the quote-unquote electric car, go and get the ice cream. That's exactly what I was looking for. So yeah. Oh yeah, and here's another thing which I want to bring to your attention. These are 245/50 R20 wheels, 20-inch rims. They are very expensive. So for the winter tires, and you need winter tires for this car because it only has a front wheel drive. So they are very, very expensive. So the original winter tires on alu wheels are priced at MG at 2,800 euros. That's quite a bit. And there's the same story like with the car insurance. The market is still in an early stage, so you don't find other appropriate and fitting 20-inch winter tires or winter wheels on tires on other wheels just now. So we are still in August, but this will be funny or interesting to see how I get around paying the 2,800 euros for winter tires for the MG. If I have to, I have to. I mean, so be it. And the car looks nice as it is, of course, with these wheels, but still it's a very expensive hobby. So yeah. So the whole infotainment system is really slow, especially after the startup. When you then try to activate your MG Pilot, it takes quite a while. The CarPlay works, so everything works, but it is a little laggy, especially when you try and go back. Well, it works now fine. It's typical, but it's kind of slow in everything. See, it takes a while. But you know, I'm good with that. I'm not in a hurry by any means, so that's all fine. Anyway, so finally, a couple of thoughts to the concerns about winter. The problem with the winter is, as I said earlier, I have no all-wheel drive. I have concerns about the consumption. This will definitely go up, and about the heating when I drive purely electric like I'm doing now. Will it be able to heat up as good as I want it to? So this will be really an issue. Well, not an issue, but a concern, and we will see what this does in winter. And then also the heating as an overall. I mean, you can use the app. The app is great, but will this give me, for example, in the precondition setting, exactly what I need? I don't know. So there are a lot of question marks about the winter tires. I actually bought some snow chains, so to say, but rather socks from Goodyear, and I will show you a picture right now. I bought these on Amazon, very, very cheap. New, like 50-60 euros. You need the XXL version, but they should help you when you get stuck somewhere to a certain extent, just as a precautionary measure. And yeah, and I think that, well, no front shield heating, so I was used to it in the past, so be it. A couple of compromises, but then you have this big sunroof here, panoramic roof, which opens very wide. This is very nice. So there, yeah, we will see. No steering wheel heating, as I said. We will see what that does in winter. The other thing is, and that is the final, quote-unquote, final verdict after 3,000 kilometers. So my summary: what do I like, what I don't like, or where I see some problems. I told you about that. But in essence, would I buy it again? As it stands today, I would say the answer is definitely yes. I would buy it again, because the price is just awesome. The price is really, really big, really great. And the comfort and the level of, you know, quality. So I had quite some people in the car already with me, so my family, of course, but also business partners, colleagues, a good friend of mine for a test drive, and everybody was just surprised how good this car felt. It doesn't feel like a cheap Chinese car. It feels like a decent, proper middle class SUV, which is great. I mean, this is just, for this price, it's insane, and everything just feels well. So I have a very comfortable position. It's very calm. It's very silent. It doesn't drive like a monster truck. It drives like a regular car, even though being 5 meters long, 2 meters wide, a 180 high. Do I have problems with parking from time to time? Of course I do. In inner cities, this is a problem. But then again, 80% of my time, not kilometers, my time in the car, I don't worry about it. I go run errands, I go to soccer matches, to ice hockey games. You can easily find a parking spot with that. Sometimes you have to walk a little longer than before, where you've squeezed your car in with the automatic parking assistant and in the Kia and the Volvo. But this car just doesn't have it, and I'm not used to it yet, how to park the car. So, and I would consider myself being a very experienced driver. I actually, when I was young, I was a truck driver. I drove 40-meter trucks, 40 tons trucks, 20 meters long. So in cities like Paris. So I wouldn't consider myself being totally stupid when it comes to parking. But, you know, you have to get used to it. I'm not a young spring chicken anymore. Everything takes a little longer, but, you know, so far so good. Knock on wood, 1, 2, 3. I think it's great value for money, and yes, so far I would buy it again. But keep in mind, I only have it 20 days, and I already have one warranty case to work on. So this is definitely to be considered as a minus. But then on the other hand, if that was just an unfortunate occasion and this compressor for the air conditioning is louder than I liked it to be, well then so be it, right? So be it. If they repair this in the foreseeable future, I haven't heard from them back yet, but I'm sure we will after the holiday season, then we never look back. We just say, okay, that was unfortunate, but that's it. So consumption is great, comfort is great. I really do like the car. It looks nice. It's a beautiful. From the back, I like it the most. I like it from behind, so to speak. It looks very nice. The front is, you know, not everybody's taste. I do like it, but it's not that I'm overly excited about it. I just like it. It's okay. All the extras in the car, you know, the feeling. And for me, the most important point about each and everything I'm buying is value for money. It is what it is. I wouldn't say that I have to worry about money a lot. I think my income is pretty okay. But it is, for me, a matter of the inner feeling. When I walk to my car every morning or in the afternoon, whatever, I just want to have a good feeling. And that good feeling I had with the Kia, who was great value for money, but I bought it used. And it seems as if it is already a similar feeling with this car now. It is good value for money. And that's what matters. And I don't feel like driving a cheap Chinese bullshit car. And actually the opposite is the case when I compare this with a Skoda Kodiaq or Peak, which is significantly higher priced. I just feel that I made the right thing, that I did the right thing, I bought the right thing. Now you can argue about Chinese cars and being a Western European, losing a lot of market share, the German brands and the Western brands. But rightfully so. I mean, you can argue that the Chinese government is supporting all these car makers. And if that's the case, that's just the fucking market, you know. And I have to look over my own finances as well. So there's nothing bad about buying the best value for money deal. And when I first saw the first review, and that was from Carwow, I like the reviews from Carwow in English. They are very great. This guy is really funny and really cool to watch. he said at the end, this is probably the best value for money car on the UK market at that point in time. And I think there's something to it. If you compare this to the Cherry Tiggo, for example, you know, this car is shorter. It has all-wheel drive, yes, absolutely it does. But it is, I don't know, what is it, 30 centimeters shorter than the MGS9? Probably is. And I don't want to miss these centimeters because I need them. At this stage in my life, I need them. Would I want to go for fully electric? Yes, absolutely I would. But not at like 70,000 euros or higher priced. Even though they are very efficient and they charge fast and everything and they have more gadgets than that. Still, no. You know, it's too much money for a car. For me, a car is an item which I'm using every day. It shouldn't be too shabby. It shouldn't be too ugly. It has to be reliable. It has to be cost efficient. And it has to be comfortable. But the practicality is key for me here. So that's why I'm saying yes. From today's perspective, I would buy it absolutely again. Let's see how that looks after, say, another 4 weeks after the holiday road trip. You know, after the first business trips in winter. You know, after maybe depleting the battery for the first time in winter or on a business trip and you don't have the opportunity to charge. These are all things which may come up and give me a hard time, but so far so good. And have you seen this turnaround, what I did right now? This is just awesome. This car behaves like a, you know, compact SUV, even though being a big SUV. And if I want to buy such sized car, even in the combustion engine world, comparing to a Hyundai Santa Fe, costs 65,000 euros with all the extras. And then it has an electric range of, what, 50 kilometers? That's ridiculous, right? And it feels cheaper, much cheaper. I was sitting in such a car and it was feeling much cheaper. And the Kia Sorento is a great car, but, you know, also there the hybrid electric range is ridiculous. And then the space in the Kia Sorento is kind of on the limit. I need more space, especially in the trunk. And then I had to go with the BMW X7, for example, because the X5 is way too small. So X7 is unaffordable. Well, I could afford it, but I don't want to. I don't want to spend 100,000 euros and more. And then also, I don't want to pay the same amount for the Mercedes equivalent. So there are not many cars out there. The Peugeot 5008, but I've never been a great fan of French brands. They may have improved recently, but we only had one French brand, and that was a Citroën C8, which at that time when I had the VW Charan, my wife had the Citroën C8 as well, because with the 3 small, very young kids, we needed 2 fully enabled family cars. It was also a 7-seater and had also sliding doors, but it was just crap. It was crappy to drive. It looked ugly. My wife hated it. She really hated it, and I think we only had it a year or 2, and then we got rid of it because it was no fun to drive. So anyway, coming back, French brands, yeah, I don't know. I'd rather go for something like that because I just feel that this is a classic car. This is by no means a cheap car from the outside, right? And from the official price tag, 50K, 49, that's not cheap. It's not expensive either. And yeah, you feel a little bit plastic here and there, but I don't give a shit. That's okay. So yeah, that's my thoughts about this car so far. I'm very happy with this car. It has its flaws, and I think I described them all. If not, I will make another video. And I hope this, you know, at the end, why am I doing this? I will never be a big YouTuber, but what I can do is I can contribute to the community here, to the group of people interested in this very car, because I just bought it. And I can give you a real owner experience after 3,202 kilometers right now. So the mixed consumption, by the way, I drove while I was talking now all the time. I drove 80 kilometers, 78.2 at the moment. 1 hour and 22 minutes I spent in the car, 58 kilometers on average per hour. 3.7 liters on average, 3.7 liters in fuel on average, and 4.7 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers. I mean, these are just fantastic values. And even at the moment where fuel prices are going through the roof, I don't care about driving, because at least half of my stuff I'm doing electric. And so far, electricity is still affordable in Germany, even though 30 cents compared to the rest of Europe may be expensive, but compared to fuel prices, it's damn cheap. So the cost per 100 kilometers, if I'm driving in the cities only, with the average consumption of 60 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers, brings me to 16 times 3, 30 and 18. So it's 5 euros. Not even 5 euros per 100 kilometers. Even if it would be 20, then it's 6 euros per 100 kilometers, while with the current fuel pricing, you get easily in city traffic, where combustion engines usually consume much more, you would get to 15, 16, 17, 18 euros per 100 kilometers. That's a big difference. And then again, I can't stress this enough. The vast majority of my hours in the car are in cities and in a close neighborhood. And all my kilometers are coming from very short but very long drives for the company or for private reasons. We do quite a bit of traveling also privately. So all in all, the overall efficiency, as I said earlier again, and we are still driving fully electric. So the overall consumption is still 5.5 liters and 5 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers. So that's just great. And then, one thing I forgot to tell you, we had a debate underneath my videos about the tire pressure. And actually, when you look into the frame of the driver's door, there's this little bumper sticker, not bumper, this is a little sticker, and it says 2.4 bars. So I had to reduce the pressure of my tires. I think the first 2,000 kilometers I was just driving with 3 bars, which was way too high. And you couldn't feel it because the suspension, that is one thing I didn't mention. The suspension is a little tough when you are driving slow. It gets better the faster you go. So the sweet spot is actually my travel pace, my typical travel pace, because I'm typically driving 130, 140 kilometers per hour. And the suspension just feels great. And then with the lower tire pressure now, also this effect of hitting bumps at a slow pace, being very uncomfortable, has been improved a little bit. But this is where you have to look at, because I got it from the dealer with the free bars, which is not great. Yeah, and then I will attach a video how to fit in your cargo cover in the back. This little rolling thing there, because you can detach the end pieces and then fit it in there. But I will show you in a quick video clip how that works. It works just great. It's awesome. So now I really have to call my wife. She called me 2 or 3 times. So this is it for today.